Shalom to you, like giving all praise and honor, glory to Yahweh Shemel Shai, Bahashem B'Chakodash, and giving double honor to the elder apostles and other bishops of Great Millstone who well, peace and salutation to the elect. Shemel Mappa is a Mappa from the Great Millstone Plaintables Camp, located here in the city of Philadelphia. I am the mighty Mike. Come on, lesson, little R. We lesson. This lesson is going into the subject of the jobs and the current economy, all that's going down in the world, which is exactly that, a downfall of Esau Edom. And the scriptures do tell you, and the Gospels, this is, this is gonna be this is Luke chapter 10 and 18, and it reads, "And he said unto them, I beheld Satan," which physical counterpart for the spiritual demon Satan is Esau Edom, who has prescribed himself to be white, but isn't he? He's out of Wam or red. Okay. The elite of them who have the control of the substance of the earth, the wealth, okay, the substance, the power, okay, and they're in a downfall currently. It says, I have beheld Satan, which is the enemy or adversary, fall from heaven, right? I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven, heaven being the rulership, okay? He's currently in his rest, all right, because all that you see here currently is him at ease and dwelling without care. But now he's in his fall, all right, and you have it that all is falling with it, okay? His system that's propping him up is falling with it, okay? So you have it here. I have two different topics. One is Social Security payments are ending. Do this before. And then the other is unemployment is about to explode. Okay. I mean, you just recently also had even that Pope Francis, and he's in the spirit world now. Okay, dies at 88. He was the Pope, Roman Catholic Church, okay, of the was that the unclean, one of the three unclean frogs? I have to go into it. Or the false prophet, actually. All right. So, but yes. We're gonna go into it. So, unemployment is about to explode.
Prices continuing to reach new record highs. You have people that are rushing out there to try and cash in on this record gold price and are basically bringing in all their old gold jewelry and having it melted down. That way they can kind of try to capitalize on these all-time high gold prices. Gold hit $3,300 an ounce for the first time about a week ago.
So you seeing also, record historic highs, okay, going on, okay, which gold and silver is the real money, and as we do know, as things fall, having some wealth can, as a brother in this knowledge, it could help in some situations, but it's not going to save you. Okay, ultimately the grace of Yahweh Shemel Shai is going to sustain the elect. Okay, This is going to be the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and 12. It says, "For wisdom is the defense, and money is the defense. But the excellency of knowledge is that wisdom giveth light to them that have it." Okay, money being a defense. Okay. Genesis 13 and 2, it says, "And Abram was very rich in cattle and silver and gold." Okay, having land, having silver, and having gold. Okay, that is true wealth. All right. So, people hold on to these certain assets, items, like gold. That's good. Okay. To a degree. But if people are trying to melt them down to get some weight. Okay.
And it's come down a little bit since then, but is still hanging on very strong. And just a month ago, gold was at around $3,000 an ounce. This is a huge move in gold, and it is one of the best performing assets that you can own right now. Stock market, it's in the tank. Real estate market is flat or in the tank, maybe going up in certain parts of the country, depending on the neighborhood you live in. And I wanted to cover this because I think it highlights two fascinating things. One, that people recognize that gold actually has value, but only when times of crisis occur, like right now.
Which I gave y'all the understanding of that.
When everything else is losing value and people see the value of gold going up, it reminds everyone that, hey, gold is real money. The second thing,
not the fiat currency, which isn't backed by gold,
is it shows you that a lot of people are broke and desperate, which we talk about a lot here on this channel, and are looking for any possible way to bring in a little extra money. And if you have some gold jewelry sitting in a safe or a jewelry box or safety deposit box right now, a lot of people are taking that jewelry and bringing it in and getting the melt value for it. I mean, just to put things into perspective, the price of gold is up about 27% so far year to date, just since the beginning of 2025, while the stock market is down like 15% year to date. And if you calculate the losses in the stock market priced in gold, well, then they are much more severe because the 15% losses are priced in dollars. If you price those losses in gold, it is more than double the losses. The stock market's down over 30% since the beginning of this year. So when you price the stock market in gold, it is essentially a crash right now. Although I personally think it's a huge mistake for people to be selling any of their gold right now as it hits all-time highs. I know that can be tempting because people need the cash, but there's a high probability that gold is just going to continue going up in value as the dollar loses its value, especially if the dollar loses its world reserve currency status, which looks like could be happening sooner than later. And the sad part is some people are bringing in jewelry that was passed down for generations in their family that has just been sitting there collecting dust, and they're finally now starting to get rid of it. And on the one hand, I understand, like, okay, if you're never going to use it, you're never going to wear it, maybe it's time to get rid of it. Now that gold's at all-time high prices, I see that argument. But at the same time, it shows you that people are so desperate they're willing to give up a family heirloom right now in exchange for cash today.
And that's the times now. Because people are scratching and surviving. Okay? All that where things of the items of jewelry had been passed down, and it was sentimental. Now, hey, they gotta let go of that just to be able to eat for the day. Okay?
And it's especially sad when people are bringing in like antique jewelry, like stuff that's really special, one-of-a-kind stuff that you'll never really see again, and people are looking to melt down this kind of jewelry right now in exchange for cash. But people who are doing this say, like, you know what, the priorities in your life change. Do I want all this stuff, laying around in my safe or my safety deposit box? The answer is usually no. They're like, it's time to let go of it and give me the money instead. But just know that if you're somebody out there that's looking to do this right now, then you're not going to get spot price for gold. If you're unfamiliar with what spot price is, it's the actual current price of the gold. You're going to always get less anytime you sell gold, even if it's already a pure gold coin, because this is how gold dealers make their money. They're always going to pay you under spot and charge you over spot when you want to purchase. It's just like when you go and buy and sell a car. You know, when you bring the car in for the trade-in, of course the dealer is going to pay you less for the car than they're going to turn around and sell it for on their lot. That's how they make their profit. But when you bring in gold jewelry that needs to be melted down, for example, you're going to get even less, because not only are they going to pay you under spot to make a profit, but there are also costs associated with melting that jewelry down into its purest form of gold, and that's an additional expense that they're going to incur, that they're going to put on you. And the other thing that's happening now that the price of gold has surged to new record highs is that thefts at jewelry stores has started to increase. In fact, in LA this week, there were millions of dollars in gold and jewels stolen from a jewelry store, and the burglars actually tunneled into the shop through multiple reinforced walls. People are really using some, elaborate plans and equipment to break into these jewelry shops and steal the gold right now because it's so valuable.
So you got, all sorts of mischief going into these cities, okay? And this is just the beginning. But, for somebody to make it a point to tunnel into, hey, they must have really needed it. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15:18. It says, "For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with sword, and spoil their goods, because of the lack of bread and great tribulation." And a lot of individuals, they see, a business owner, okay, especially having gold or some type of jewels and such. That's a major come up for many individuals. I believe when you go into it, the person came out with millions, all right, and all these different gold assets. Okay, but as we continue to progress within prophecy, the invading of men to one another because of the lack of bread, not having money, food, okay, is only going to increase.
They ended up getting away with $10 million worth of gold and jewelry. Some people are even going to the extent that if they have a loved one that passes away right now and they have a gold tooth, they're asking the mortician to, yank that sucker out. I'm bringing it to the pawn shop.
So that's serious. People like, oh, hey, and you got to watch out. If you got gold tooth in your mouth, man, somebody might want to knock it out and sell that.
Picking this stuff up, guys, go ahead and read the story below. It is just crazy the amount of things and the lengths that people will go to sometimes in order to, make a little extra money. Every time
this is what the reality is, okay? So the prophecies, they continue to speak, all right? So it tells you in Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, in verse 2, it says, "And Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision of the Chazawan," which is the vision, the prophecy, "and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For a vision is yet for a appointed time, but at the end it shall speak, and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry." And these major prophecies are happening And the MOTB, which is the mark of the beast, okay, which is that implantable device, okay, and which have that NFC and RFID technology. Hey, that's gonna come to pass soon, being mandatory. Okay, they coming, with a reset, a great reset. Okay, so you seeing people selling gold, stealing, robbing jewelry stores. I can show you even worse. People robbing herbalist stores. Okay, I got a lesson I got to do on that. But things are getting harder. Okay, so we just gotta continue to progress forward. I'm gonna do my best to keep following it. So shalom to the elect till the next lesson.